We're living through the first generation-wide experiment in raising children whose primary world is digital. Most of us didn't grow up with smartphones in our pockets or social media in our hands. Today, those forces shape the daily experience of children and teenagers way more than the school, or the church, or neighborhood, or even family rhythms. And while every generation has its worries and its quirks, something genuinely new is happening in the cultural soul our kids are growing up in. It's not simply that they're looking at their screens, it's that screens are shaping how they think and what they fear, how they relate, and even who they're becoming. As a pastor and a parent and a follower of Jesus, I've been trying to understand how formation works in 2025. Back in September, we began a class called Faith and Phones, and unfortunately, it was cut short due to unexpected circumstances in my family's life. However, I think the content of that class is vitally important for the church today. I plan to try and offer it again sometime in the future, but for now, I wanted to share a summary of some of the things we discussed and some things we didn't get to. So I asked ChatGPT to summarize all the notes and the handouts I made for this class, and then I took that and edited it to make today's email. The class was initially inspired by the work of Jonathan Haidt, whose two books, The Coddling of the American Mind and The Anxious Generation, they both provide profound insights into these topics. However, I found the most helpful way to frame this conversation actually comes from the work of two people who aren't theologians at all, journalist John Byrne Murdoch and writer Derek Thompson. Together, they give us language for something we're all feeling intuitively. Life is faster, it's thinner, it's louder and lonelier than it used to be. Byrne Murdoch organizes like this. The digital world offers distractions and causes displacement, leading to a decline in conscientiousness. In the simplest terms, our devices are doing two things to us at once. They're capturing our attention and they're crowding out our relationships. The result is a decline in conscientiousness, or our ability to focus, to persevere, to complete tasks, to manage impulses, and live with purpose. And that decline isn't just a quirk of personality, it touches on the very heart of Christian discipleship. What follows is my attempt to summarize what's happening. Try to ground it in research and scripture and suggest a path forward for families, for young people, and especially for us, the church. And so the first part is about distraction, when attention becomes the battleground. Tristan Harris, the former Google design ethicist, he said, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. He wasn't being dramatic. He was describing an economy in which most valuable commodity isn't oil or gold, but it's your attention. The companies shaping our digital lives, like Apple and Meta and TikTok and YouTube, they're not neutral platforms. They're attention-maximizing machines. They're engineered to keep us scrolling and clicking for as long as possible. Features like infinite scroll, autoplay, push notifications, streaks, and personalized recommendations. These are not conveniences. They're forms of psychological capture. This matters more than we think, because attention isn't just mental currency. It's the gateway to our desires and our formation. As the late Dallas Willard once put it, the first act of love is always the giving of attention. And if that's true, then the first act of spiritual sabotage might well be the constant theft of attention. Distraction works by fragmenting the mind into 1,000 little impulses. It shortens our capacity for a sustained thought, deep reading, and meditative prayer. And we see these effects everywhere, right? Long-form reading is down. Shallow browsing is up. Teens report difficulty concentrating on homework. Adults confess they can't focus long enough to pray or read scripture without checking their phones. John Byrne Murdoch's reporting shows a stunning decrease in reading for pleasure among teenagers, paired with an explosion of short-form video consumption. This isn't surprising, and it's not that reading is morally superior. It's just that reading strengthens the cognitive muscles that relationships, faith, and work all rely on. Screens, especially short-form and algorithm-driven ones, they train the opposite impulses: quick novelty, constant stimulation, low friction, and these escapist loops. Psalm 1 gives us a picture of the kind of life God desires for us. Their delight is in the law of the Lord, and on His law they meditate day and night. They are like a tree planted by streams of water. The contrast is the chaff that the wind drives away. A distracted life, constantly uprooted, always scrolling, endlessly reactive. It resembles the chaff. A spiritually attentive life Rooted, meditative, stable, it resembles a tree planted by the water. The modern digital environment is not neutral. It's cultivating chaff-like habits in a generation desperate for rootedness. But distraction is only half the story. We're also in the age of displacement, when the digital life, it replaces the real life. It steals attention, yes, but it also erodes something deeper: presence. Derek Thompson argues that we are entering what he calls the antisocial century. It's a period marked by voluntary solitude. And this is not the meaningful solitude of contemplation, but the lonely solitude of convenience. In one of his descriptions, he observes, all of this time alone at home on the phone, it's not just affecting us as individuals, it's making society weaker and meaner and more delusional. And we see this everywhere too. Solo dining is up. Fewer young people go on dates. Teen hangouts have plummeted. There are places like parks and cafes and libraries, churches, they're all emptying. Even inside our homes, family members often sit in the same room but live in different digital worlds. Sociologist Sherry Turkle, she put it pretty sharply. We expect more from technology and less from each other. This is the heart of displacement. Screens, they don't simply entertain us, they replace the people who used to form us. For teenagers, this means face-to-face friendships decline while online interactions rise. Their social muscles weaken, their emotional coping tools shrink, their resilience suffers. Lisa DeMoore, she notes that one of the strongest predictors of emotional health in teens is the presence of supportive peers and adults in their daily embodied life. When digital life displaces that, anxiety rises, not because kids are weaker, but because the support structures they need are thinner. For adults, displacement looks like declining trust in institutions such as the government and schools, media, and even the church. People retreat into online tribes, private entertainment, or just high-risk financial speculation like sports betting or cryptocurrency because embodied institutions feel distant or unreliable. The result is a society that is relationally undernourished but digitally overstimulated. The scripture offers us a counter-vision, though. Do not neglect to meet together, but encourage one another, from Hebrews. The early church devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to the breaking bread and prayer, says Acts. Christianity is an embodied faith. The Word became flesh, not pixels, and dwelt among us. When digital life displaces embodied life, we're not losing connection, we're drifting from the very pattern of Christ's incarnation. Baron Murdoch pointed out something especially surprising. The combined weight of distraction and displacement appears to be contributing to a measurable decline in conscientiousness among young people. Conscientiousness, it's one of the big 5 personality traits, and it includes perseverance, task completion, impulse control, self-discipline, delay of gratification, and reliability. It's one of the strongest predictors of positive life outcomes, way more predictive than childhood happiness or even intelligence. Lisa DeMoore, she highlights research showing that childhood conscientiousness is strongly correlated with adult well-being, stability, and flourishing. And here's the alarming part. Distraction plus displacement equals less conscientiousness. A scattered mind cannot persevere. A lonely child doesn't practice social responsibility. A displaced teen doesn't develop the confidence and follow-through that comes from actual tasks, real friendships, part-time jobs, responsibilities, and rituals. The digital life creates the illusion of engagement without the development of discipline. This is not a moral failure. It's an environmental one. Kids today are growing up in an ecosystem that weakens the very traits that make adult life possible. And for Christians, conscientiousness isn't merely a psychological trait. It's part of discipleship. Eugene Peterson said it best: Christian discipleship is a decision to walk in His way steadily and firmly, and then finding that the way integrates all our natural abilities and gifts. A generation raised in distraction and displacement struggles to maintain the very habits that form Christian character. So what do? What is the church's call? Well, the answer is not simply to give up and throw in the towel on conscientiousness. Also, we don't ban phones and hope for the best. We definitely don't shame families or demonize screens. Instead, we rebuild connection and we reclaim attention. The gathered worship of the church is countercultural in the best way. It asks us to sit still to listen deeply, to pray and be present to God and one another. These are ancient rhythms of resistance against our distracted age. Likewise, shared meals, youth group, choir, discipleship groups, mission trips, and potlucks, they all embody us in the community of faith. The church is one of the last places in American life where people gather across generations in the flesh to practice love. We also restore trust. In a world suspicious of institutions, the church becomes a place of refuge where character is formed, not consumed, and where relationships matter more than opinions, where trust is rebuilt through presence. And if we do all these things, we will form or reform conscientiousness. The Christian life is full of practices that build character. Weekly worship, daily prayer, confession, generosity, and service. These are holy habits that strengthen the muscles modern life is weakening. The church is meant to offer the world what it cannot give itself. Digital life gives us convenience. The gospel gives us communion. Digital life gives us entertainment. The gospel gives us transformation. Digital life gives us constant updates, but the gospel gives us eternal hope. I believe this moment, this confusing, hyper-connected, lonely, distracted moment, may actually be one of the greatest opportunities for the Christian witness we've seen in a long time. Because what the world is starving for, attention, presence, community, meaning, faithfulness, that's what the church is built to offer. Our role is not to panic or condemn. Our role is to offer a better way.